Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got a special guest here in the studio, but first, let's take a look at our weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and a hardworking crew up in Southport, taking care of our everyday comfort needs. High today, 83, low 72. Not much variance right there. And water temperature is hanging in there at 80 degrees at the end of the pier. So really steady there, going on 3 weeks at 80 degrees. And over and over again, I hear about the grass from so many fishermen and outdoorsmen about how the grass has really been strong. It came in early this year, and we'll talk about that later. Our river readings brought to us by Mountain Dew. Take a look at the Apalachicola Bluntstown. Folks, this is 3.3. It is low. And you've seen the fish the last couple of days. You've seen the pictures of the fish that's being caught out of that river system. It's been something else, and I hope you get a chance to go. Looking at Choctaw Caravelle on the other end now, it's going up. We had this rain a couple of days, and it's going almost straight up. We're looking at a 7.3. It was down to 4. It's going up to 7.3 today, so it's on the rise. Okay, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're in neap tides. Not much tide today or next couple of days. We're going to have some decent tides coming in on Saturday. And our wind direction, guess what? It's back in double figures at 15 coming out of the southeast. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with our guest. Welcome back, and welcome to Dr. Jeremy Sunseri, one of our great sponsors, been with us a long time. How's it going, buddy?
I'm happy to be here, as always, with you, Winston. It's an honor.
We're glad to have him. We were talking about it, and we're just trying to catch up with everything. I see him at least once a year, and he beats up on me pretty good. But but we'll get to that later. But I was always asking about his family, and I'm always genuinely interested in people's families and kids and all. And you told me you have a 16-year-old.
True story, yeah. She just turned 16 last week, which was hard to...
She was just that high not too long ago.
I know it. They grow like weeds. It happens so fast.
What are the ages now of your kids?
My oldest girls are 16 and 13. I have one just graduating from 8th grade and the other who just got her driver's license. And then I have two boys who are 6 and 8.
Wow. That keeps you busy, don't it?
It sure does. Yeah, it'll keep you busy, all right.
Well, at work, I know you're busy at work. I've been by there, and
yeah,
there's something.
I have an amazing staff who work super hard.
Your staff, I know several of them. Well, I know quite a few of them in there, and they're just
You got to.
Yeah.
We can't keep up with all the skin cancers.
We're going to talk about that later, but he's got a funny story. One of the things, and we always talk about this as outdoorsmen, we just like to get outdoors as much as we can, and that's, I think, when Jeremy and I first hit it off because he loved so much outdoor stuff, and I stayed in it off that first visit. I stayed in there a lot longer than I should have. And we're talking about outdoor stuff, and so we were talking about you have a farm you like to sort of get away to. So tell us about it.
Well, we've got horses there, and one of the things I wanted to do is have my kids have a place where they can go and learn how to do hard work, and so that was kind of the idea behind it, where we could get some horses and have them do chores and whatnot. And so I do a lot of them, but they sure help. I have it's nonstop. There's always something that needs to be done there, and so you feel like it's burning you up at both ends between that and the house. But it's been a neat place for the kids to let loose and have fun.
Well, the kids, you're talking about the different. They get out there and just have a lot of fun, and they're exposed to all that.
Yeah. So
you're telling this story here. I cracked up. This is a funny story about we always want our kids to just enjoy nature at all ages and all have an appreciation of nature. And all studies point that the earliest you start them around nature and outdoor activities, the more they're going to love it for their lifetime. They've done all kinds of neat studies on that, and you starting early. Tell us about this story you just told me. This is
well. So my daughter went to feed the horses, and she came back and called me and said, "Dad, I just saw a big, huge bird dropped this bunny, and she came back with it wrapped up in a blanket, and she was going to save it because she loves animals and she's got a big heart. And so I started looking at this thing, and I could tell that it wasn't going to be savable. So I didn't know what to do. At this point, all my kids were standing there looking at this poor bunny who had been dropped by a hawk, and he was about to eat it until my daughter came up on a four-wheeler. Anyhow, I said, you know, I want you guys to go inside. We got to put this bunny down and help it, you know. And my two boys were very upset, but they couldn't go inside and they couldn't turn away. So I went inside and got the .22, and I shot it. And the bullet, of course, goes out and it takes his eye out. So the eye comes out, and I'm like, oh, trying to hide it from my kids, you know. And of course they see it. So my oldest son started to cry and get upset about it, which I thought was sweet of him. You know, it's a hard thing to see. And so they said, well, Dad, we want to bury it. And I said, well, how can we bury? We don't even know his name. And they said, yeah, we already talked about it. They said, we're going to name him Hawkeye. I said, well, why Hawkeye? And they said, because a hawk dropped him and killed him, and you shot his eye out. so we buried old Hawkeye. And
okay, and here's a picture right here of Hawkeye and the boys. They got that forlorn look on their. There it is right there. What a funny story. Here it is. He put his name.
Old Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, and those things like that. Those are the experiences that you get once you get outdoors and unplanned and natural stuff. And I got a kick out of it because, you know, kids don't like to see stuff like that. But to come up with the name Hawkeye, that's pretty creative. So
it was funny.
That's going to be a memory they'll always talk about.
Yep. They'll never forget that.
Did you come back next week and tell your office staff that story? Did they get a kick out of it?
I told a couple people.
Okay.
I had to.
That's funny. Okay, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with Jeremy Cincinnati. Okay, welcome back. We're sitting here talking about doing outdoor stuff, and what comes up on the subject about yellow flies. We're talking about it, and you said y'all have had some experience. Everybody's been talking about yellow flies. So.
For sure. My wife got bit just last night, and her ankle swelled up ginormous.
Yeah, it's amazing. Here, look at this little post here. Florida forecast for the next 6 months from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. be yellow flies, and then from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. be the mosquitoes.
That's right.
So, okay.
Welcome to Florida.
Well, anyway, getting back to what you do for a living, and we always, you know, being consummate outdoorsmen, we always, I wish I'd have talked to you when I was about 12 years old, and I would have prevented a lot of things. But tell us what's going on in the dermatology world.
Yeah, you say that. I think sometimes even knowing all that I know and being an outdoorsman, it's really hard to be perfect. But it's really hard for me to show up to work with a sunburn. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Bad for business. So that's my biggest tip, I think, is just try to avoid getting sunburns. And I say that repetitively, I know, but it's hard to do, and cover up, wear sunscreen. Mm-hmm. But we deal with May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and I just read there's 5 million cases of skin cancer diagnosed in a year in the United States, and about 5,000 people, over 5,000 people die from melanoma each year in the United States. And to me, melanoma is something that at least death from it is preventable, because you can see it on your skin, detect it, and get it taken care of if you get it taken care of early and have it be minimal. But you just got to get your skin looked at and get your skin checked. If there's a spot you're worried about, schedule an appointment with a dermatologist, get in and have it looked at and biopsied if need be.
And we learn, like I say, by experience and all. And as a young person, we do all kinds of things and don't even think about it. But I really I'm so conscientious about just covering up now, wide brim and all that. And that's important. For sure.
And to me, it's the easiest thing to do. I think I always tell patients, men are generally terrible about putting on lotions and creams. And so I think putting on sunscreen can be hard for guys, especially, but I think for everyone it's hard to do when you're a fisherman. And I think the key is covering up, I cover up to the point where it gets ridiculous, and people probably laugh at me, but I'm okay with it because what I do every day is cut out skin cancers for a living, and so when you do that all day, every day, you get to be pretty comfortable with covering up.
I always ask this question all because it sort of surprises me the answer. How quick can you get burned? I mean, especially in the summertime. I catch myself sometimes going out at noon, walking across the parking lot or something, and my head's uncovered or something. I already feel it by the time I get to the truck.
Yeah.
I know.
It depends on a lot of factors, the UV index, et cetera, but you can get a burn real quick. For sure, in 20 minutes, you can get a sunburn easy.
Wow.
And so just being outside, doing a simple chore like mowing or anything like that, if you're going to be out for longer than walking to your car and back, and some dermatologists would say even that, you should cover up or wear sunscreen or do protective measures. But for sure, if you're going to be outside or out doing outdoor stuff and hunting and fishing or any kind of chore, cover up, wear sunscreen, especially on the parts you want to keep, like your nose and your ears and those things that are hard to reconstruct surgically. I strongly recommend it.
This is interesting. I thought about you the other morning. I was at a school ceremony, and I was in a position where it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, but I was facing the sun. I normally wouldn't be there, but it was like a little ceremony. And I thought that would end. But when I think it was 9 o'clock, I need to call Jeremy and see if I'm okay out here at about 9:30. But seriously, as the sun starts coming up, at what angle does it really? I mean, I could feel it. I was in my suit and all. And I could just feel that sun on my forehead. So
it's worst at peak day hours. So high noon is when the sun exposure is the worst. Early morning, it's a little bit better, but at any point in the day, you can get a sunburn. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a little harder at those peak. At peak time, it's much easier to get a sunburn for sure.
I remember one time I was saying we always go from 10 to 2 to try to stay up, and you sort of makes from 9 to 3 a lot of times in the summertime.
Right. Right.
So, what about if you do get burned? What do you do right after? You feel like I'm sunburned. So, what do you do then? I mean, the damage already been done, right?
Right. Call your mama. get some aloe vera.
So, what do you recommend putting on it?
The only thing I think that helps in my experience is aloe vera. That's the only thing I know of. There's all kinds of stuff that is out there, I think, but to me the best thing is aloe vera helps the most. It seems
the aloe plant itself, breaking that off and rubbing it on, the natural.
Yeah.
We're at a point now where we have that many sunburns around our family. We pretty well know what to do, but on occasion, especially in the summertime when you have out-of-town visitors coming in, they just don't know any better.
Yep. Still, yeah, I see it all the time. And if you get a really, really severe sunburn, it may require more than some aloe vera, but that's a different story.
Okay, your patients, you see quite a few a day. In general, what's the percentage of all of this, as far as male, female, as far as being exposed to the sun?
Yeah, we see a lot more males than females for sure, but we do see a good amount of females, and so it affects everybody. I think there's a statistic out there. If you go to skincancer.org, it'll tell you the actual one, but it's something like 2 to 1 male to female ratio in terms of skin cancers. Yeah. So it's almost double the risk. But at this point in my practice, I'm all day long just cutting out skin cancer. It's rare that I get a day where I can do skin checks anymore because I'm so full just cutting out skin cancer.
Actually cutting them out?
Just cutting them out. That's pretty much all I'm doing at this point, and I'm still behind and still can't keep up. Wow. But for some reason, the incidence of skin cancer is going up,
really?
Which is weird to me.
All the knowledge we have.
Yeah, and I don't know if it is detection, if we're detecting more, or if, who knows, but the incidence is going up for all types of skin cancer, which is odd. That's
surprising, really.
Yeah, I thought so too.
When they come in, most of them is the first time or second time. You have a series of...
some people are more prone based on your skin type to getting skin cancer, and then your occupational hazards, or people who, grew up being PE coaches or being fishermen or both, are going to have a lot more sun exposure. But there's a lot of different factors. But we have a lot of folks that are repeat customers, and we'll see them every week for months, it seems like, on end. and they get tired of seeing us for sure.
Well, this is a profession where you don't want to have repeat customers.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. They don't want to be our repeat customer for sure, but they appreciate us and our staff. But at the same time, nobody wants to go through that.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take our final break and be back with Dr. Jeremy Sunseri. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe, 8:09 to 10:09 this morning, and this evening from 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. I was telling Dr. Sunseri, I call him Jeremy, but I guess around a place like this we got to call him Dr. Sunseri, but we're glad to have you come on. But we have a coach's breakfast club. We've continued after we all retired, and we meet on Monday morning about 9 o'clock at Randy Cantrell's and tell the same old stories we've told 100 times, and somehow we still, oh, that's a good story. But what I'm getting at is there several of our coaches just have cutouts here and cutouts there, and is that one of the preemptive times? I mean, you always see that, that's to sort of stop that's pretty serious when you have to cut on that, isn't it?
You know, the nose as a place is just hard to sew up. I mean, if you have a spot in your cheek, you can pull it side to side and sew it up in a straight line. But a spot on your nose is an area where if you pull even slightly up, you can deform it, lift up on the nasal ala, or affect their ability to breathe. And so everything has to be done so carefully, and which means it's always a big job on the nose.
Is that one, when you do all that, but everything you do, is that one of the biggest challenges, is the one cutting on the...
For sure.
Oh, yeah,
yep.
to get it right.
Noses and ears.
Noses and ears. No?
Yeah, are the most challenging, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is, I love doing them, but at the same time, it's always a big procedure. To me, it's the challenge makes it fun, but at the same time, I always feel so bad that somebody has to go through that, you know.
And I don't think it has the stigma now that it once did, because I think it is so prevalent in some of the people and all. I mean, it's not, you know, a big deal. So you've been outdoors a lot, like me, and you know, when I go in there, you know, we'll take my shirt off. You always talking about looking on my back. I don't, you know, I can't even see back there and all. So you get a lot of stuff on the back.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and especially in men, you know, because men are always taking their shirt off when it gets hot, and so. And it's a place where you can't, it's difficult to check. I have checked my own back in the mirror. And I found a melanoma on my own back, actually.
Did you?
Yep, and it's hard to see it. And so we always recommend getting a partner or somebody that you trust to take a look at your back, and if they see anything concerning, get it looked at, get it, you know, checked out. But it's always good to check those spots that you can't see by yourself. If you can't see it, have somebody look for you.
This man is trained in all his education in dermatology, and he had a melanoma on his back.
Yeah, I've had two actually, and I think my mom's had it, and there's some genetic predisposition, I think, for sure, being that fair skin and somebody who stayed. I grew up, sunscreen wasn't a thing. At least I wasn't coated in sunscreen when I was a kid. I remember getting terrible blistering sunburns. And again, on skincancer.org, they have some neat statistics about if you 5 sunburns doubles your risk of getting melanoma. So, you know, there's different statistics like that, but it does relate to getting a sunburn, which I've always been fascinated, because I think back at all the times I remember having blisters on my back from just being outside at the lake or being outside fishing all day, and you get terrible blisters, but it happens.
Well, and you think about summer's coming up. That's why we have them come on in May every year. Summer's coming up, and a lot of moms taking their kids to the beach and just they don't ignore them all. They just get carried away, and the kids are playing and having such a good time, and boom, before you know it, they burn even when they put stuff on.
Absolutely. When I had my daughters were little toddlers, we would set a timer when we'd go to the beach for every 2 hours. You're supposed to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours, and we'd set that timer. And man, it would happen so fast, it would seem like we just barely put sunscreen on, and there it goes buzzing again, and I'm like, holy cow. Now my daughters, they of course want to rebel, you know, so they'll be up at the farm laying out
Oh, yeah.
you know, suntan, and I tell them, you ain't built right to be getting a sunburn, girls.
Yeah, especially with my dad, he's a dermatologist.
Exactly. They, you know,
that's not a good example.
rebel, rebel, rebel. That's how they do it.
Well, we always, you know, like I say, every year, this is something important to me, and because we've all had somebody in the family or good friends with this problem, and we've just been fortunate to have this relationship with Dr. Sunseri, and it's important for him to come on the show, and I know you've heard it last year, you're going to hear it again next year, because it's just gotten going up in it.
It is going
instead
up.
of it going down like
exactly. Yep, it's going up every year.
Yeah.
And we appreciate all you do for skin cancer awareness and outdoorsmen alike, for everybody.
And
we appreciate you.
And that's so, as outdoorsmen, we sort of, if you see your buddy's got someone who knows something, tell them you need to get that checked out. Seriously.
For sure.
And we used to not do that, and we used to tell them you look ugly and keep on fishing, but now you need to get that checked out.
That's for sure.
I know, appreciate you coming on. I know you're getting ready to go back to the farm soon, and
yes, sir.
And you got to balance out that work and play.
Amen.
And I know, and y'all take care. Y'all take flowers to Hawkeye's grave and make sure the kids.
We'll do it.
I love that story. Is that not? We're talking about typical things happening outdoors, and real life, true stories, and that's sort of what this show reflects and all. And you still taking new patients, or you?
We're still taking new patients. Yeah. If you can't get in to see me for a skin check, get in to see one of my staff. I have some awesome staff who are trained to find these things, and then if you end up needing it cut out, you'll end up seeing me for sure.
Okay.
And if you really insist on, I gotta have him, they'll get you in. It might just be a wait.
And tell me you saw him on Panhandle Outdoors, and you like a little handlebar. That looks good there.
Right.
Folks, we always appreciate you watching Panhandle Outdoors over here, and we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Thank you for doing, being our viewers, and always do something good today for your fellow man. You have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Wear that sunscreen, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.